And that has to be the icing on the cake for these fans. Bob Brindley, as the Giants take the field. And clean up Ryan McCann behind the plate. Alex Gonzalez will be the shortstop. Matt Diaz will start in left field. Brooks Conrad batting seventh at second base. Rick Ankiel is in center field. And Derek Lowe on the mound for the Braves, facing two-time reigning Cy Young Award winner Tim Lincecum, making his postseason initial appearance.
Now Lincecum finished the season in fine fashion, going 5-1 with an ERA of 1.94 over his last 6 starts. He'll feature a fastball across the top of the strike zone, a much improved slider, a changeup that he'll use as a swing and a miss pitch. They call him the Freak. Very unusual mechanics for a guy that's only 5'11", takes one of the longest strides in all of baseball. Tremendous competitor, tremendous athlete on the mound.
And only 26 years of age. All of the Giants starters are young. And let's take a look now at the scouting report, Bob, here.
I just mentioned the unique delivery, the long stride for a relatively short pitcher. He does have a curveball that he'll use on occasion. His slider is the pitch he uses when he needs a ground ball, and you can run on him. Not that the Braves run much. 27 stolen bases in 30 attempts against Lincecum this season.
LDS coverage on TBS is brought to you in HD by BMW, the ultimate driving machine. So Tim Lincecum, who's had a roller coaster season, really struggled in August before that great September that Bob talked about, will be facing Omar Infante, the leadoff hitter for the Braves. Braves limped home and made the playoffs as the wild card team. They were under 500 in the last month of the season. Infante hit .321, third top hitter in the National League, and he takes a fastball and they're underway. Strike one. Jason Hayward is on deck. 1-1.
Tim Lincecum. It may appear that he throws a four-seam fastball, and he will incorporate one across the top of the zone, but his natural grip on that fastball is a two-seam grip like Derek Lowe will use to throw his sinker. Of course, you won't see anything sinking from Tim Lincecum tonight. You will from Derek Lowe, however, and he should have his sinker on to get those ground balls. 2 balls and 1 strike. And now 3-1, and none of those 3 balls were close to the plate. Outfield and infield playing Infante straight away. And a fly ball hit to left center field. Pat Burrell going back, and it's going to drop in front of the center fielder Andres Torres. So a leadoff double by Omar Infante starts it off for the Braves. Lincecum getting himself into a good hitter's count to a good hitter. Omar Infante picking on the high fastball up and out over the plate. Enormous gaps here at AT&T Park in San Francisco, and Infante splits the gap in left center field for a leadoff double. So Omar Infante, who was a surprise this year, had a career year, and here is Jason Hayward, the outstanding rookie, had 18 homers and 72 runs batted in, and he was in the lineup from opening day on, and he cashed in his major league debut with a 3-run homer in his first major league at-bat. I happened to be at that game, Dick. It was against the Cubs' fine starting pitcher Carlos Zambrano, and it was a monster home run into the bullpen in right center field down in Atlanta. Lead at second by Infante. Shortstop Uribe playing right behind him. Ball 1 outside. MLB postseason and Espanol live MLB postseason Spanish language feed is available via SAP. Infante at second base, and a cut on and miss on the breaking ball. 1-1. Jason Hayward, like the catcher Gerald Buster Posey, who we'll see later on, and of course Posey playing right behind him in the catcher spot, both natives of Georgia.
Fastball lifted out to left field. Pat Burrell coming on over and makes the catch for the first out as Infante goes back to second. Let's take a look at the Giants defensively, and 3 different outfielders than they had opening day. Tonight, Pat Burrell in left, Andres Torres in center, and Cody Ross is in right. Pablo Sandoval, Juan Uribe, Freddie Sanchez, and Aubrey Huff make up the infield, and Buster Posey catching Tim Lincecum, and 73 errors, the 3rd fewest in the league.
That can be deceiving, Dick. They've made the 3rd fewest errors in the league. However, they don't get to a lot of balls that some other defenses will, particularly on that left side with Sandoval at 3rd and Uribe at short.
Here's the ex-Cub Derek Lee, who takes the first pitch for a strike. Derek Lee coming over in mid-August and hit .330 down the stretch. Infante with the leadoff double. Good pitch in on the fist, foul back. 0-2 to Derek Lee.
Derek Lee's been bothered off and on all season, going back to the beginning of the year when he was with the Chicago Cubs with some back problems that will from time to time really inhibit his swing. Reportedly, he's been swinging the bat much better as of late.
Lays off the fastball, and they appealed to Paul Nard, the first base umpire. Did not go around. 1-2.
Get a look from the side angle. It appears Derek Lee was able to check on that high fastball. One thing to watch for here in the early going is where Buster Posey sets up and where Lincecum delivers the pitch. I think he's got a little too much adrenaline flowing out there right now. He's missed his spots fairly consistently here in the early going.
And his fastballs have been up in the strike zone. The count is 2 balls and 2 strikes to Derek Lee, who has had some success against Lincecum in the past. He was setting up away, and the pitch came inside, and a full count now to Lee.
Now, one thing in Tim Lincecum's favor is he can get away with mistakes that some other pitchers cannot. But it's something to look forward as this game progresses. He's going to have to start hitting his spots. This is a very professional hitting Braves team, even though their numbers might not reflect it.
So after getting ahead 0-2, runs the count full, and Lincecum strikes out Derek Lee for out number 2.
Now, this is a pitch that Tim Lincecum has really worked hard on this year, along with Matt Cain, a fellow starter in the Giants rotation. Tightened up his slider, got more downward movement as opposed to being a flat across the strike zone pitch, and that time got Derek Lee to swing right over the top.
Brian McCann, the batter, and there's Bobby Cox, who is retiring after a brilliant career as a manager and getting a chance in postseason one last time. And the first pitch to Brian McCann is in for a strike.
I don't know about you, Dick, but I cannot imagine Major League Baseball without Bobby Cox. One of the true class gentlemen in the history of this game, and certainly you cannot argue with his record of success.
Ball strike 2, 0-2 to McCann. McCann coming in and led the Braves in homers and RBIs. And the crowd on its feet. In the dirt, 1-2 to McCann. They honored Bobby Cox last Saturday on the day before the regular season ended, and the Braves were beaten by the Phillies. And it looked like their chances were slipping away, but they came back on the final Sunday and got in as the wild card. Again, the breaking pitch in the dirt, 2-2. Infante led off with a double, and he's still there with 2 down. Alex Gonzalez would be next for Atlanta. And 3 straight pitches into the dirt, 3-2. So Lincecum twice in a row going to the full count.
Well, I guess if you're Dave Righetti, the pitching coach for the Giants, you would prefer Lincecum to miss in his favor, in this case in the dirt out in front of home plate, rather than hang that changeup in the middle of the plate where McCann could do damage.
Three balls, 2 strikes, 2 down. Runner at second. Cuts him out, and that'll do it in the first inning. Braves don't score, and the Giants coming to bat. And now the Giants coming to bat. And here is their batting order. Andres Torres leading off. Freddie Sanchez hitting second. Aubrey Huff batting third. And the rookie Buster Posey batting cleanup. Pat Burrell hitting in the 5th spot. Juan Uribe in the 6th slot. Pablo Sandoval hitting 7th. Cody Ross batting 8th. And Lincecum the pitcher batting 9th. And stepping in is very impressive Andres Torres, who looks at a breaking ball for a strike. Great story for Torres, who's been almost a career minor leaguer, got a chance to start and proved to be the catalyst for the Giants in the leadoff position. That pitch misses outside. 1-1 against Derek Lowe, who's been a big game pitcher throughout his career. Ground ball through the hole into right field. A base hit for Torres, and the Giants have the leadoff man on with a hit. Derek Lowe, the National League Pitcher of the Month with a 5-0, 1.17 earned run average in September.
And deadly sinker ball pitcher, extreme ground ball pitcher, nearly 3 ground ball outs for every fly ball out. We've seen the sinker to the back door to left-handed hitters, or rather the cutter, I mean. He'll also throw the sinker on the outside part of the plate. He works both sides of the plate early in the game, but as the game progresses, he'll tend to stay away from everybody.
Throw to first base. Neither of these teams like to run. Torres, though, did steal 26 bases. And now almost leaning the other way. Gets back to first.
Now, this may be the only base running excitement you get in this series when Andres Torres reaches. Not a lot of speed in either one of these lineups, with the exception of the Giants' leadoff hitter. And certainly the Braves are well aware of that. Derek Lowe with a number of tosses over here to first base.
Runner doesn't go, and the first pitch to the plate to Freddie Sanchez is in for a strike.
And then a quick pitch to home plate.
There you see the alignment, and the outfield playing shaded around to the right for the right-handed hitting Sanchez. And a ground ball slowly hit to second, could be two. Conrad to Gonzalez, over to Lee for the double play, and Torres is erased, and there are two down. Let's take a look now at the Braves defensively, and if they have an Achilles heel, it is the defense. Matt Diaz in left, Rick Ankiel in center, and the rookie Jason Hayward at right. Infante, Gonzalez, Conrad, and Derek Lee, who has won 3 Gold Gloves at first. Brian McCann behind the plate. But this is a team that had the 3rd most errors in the National League, a whopping 126. Here's Aubrey Huff with 2 out and the bases empty. Ball 1 outside.
Ground ball double play, not an unfamiliar sight for the fans here in San Francisco. The Giants led the National League, grounding into 158 double plays during the regular season.
Down low, and Lowe falls behind Huff 2-0. Aubrey Huff, the most consistent Giant hitter this year, led the team with 26 home runs, and he knocked in 86 runs as well. There you see the Braves right behind the Giants as far as rounding into double plays. A call strike, and it's 2-1. Giants finished 19-10 since September 1st. Put on the big rush to overtake San Diego. And the pitch is inside, and it's 3-1 to Huff with Buster Posey on deck.
This first inning, Dick, has really been a microcosm of the 2 pitching staffs and the 2 starters in the game tonight. Derek Lowe gets in jams. He relies on ground balls and double plays to get out of them. Tim Lincecum gets in trouble. He relies on strikeouts to get out of jams. I don't know about you, but Lincecum looks like he should have ridden a skateboard in from the bullpen after his warm-ups.
And ball 4, and Huff is on. Or he would be in the short track speed skating in the Winter Olympics. And here comes Buster Posey, called up from AAA on May 29th. The Giants were 67-48 after being only 2 games over 500. He had 18 homers, drove in 67 runs in 108 games. And he led the Giants with a .305 batting average. And that's just the start of what Buster Posey has meant to this club as he takes strike 1.
It's mind-boggling to me, Dick, as a former catcher, as a former manager, to imagine a guy coming up from the minor leagues, finding his way to the 4 spot in the lineup and handling one of the toughest pitching staffs in all of baseball, and doing it with a veteran's flair. Bruce Bochy told us before the ball game that Buster had to earn the trust of this pitching staff, and he has done it.
And Bochy, a former catcher in his own right, appreciates exactly what you do. The 0-1 pitch and the check swing. 1 ball and 1 strike to Buster Posey. And he just has come up as a leader and as a professional, I think, from day one.
Very polished hitter, something that you can't teach a guy, but very polished at the plate and has worked hard on his skills behind the plate. I know a lot of Giants fans wanted Posey up here when the season began, but he needed some work on his defensive skills behind the plate. He was able to do that down at AAA Fresno, and he's pretty much a finished product at this point.
We saw a glimpse of Hayward in right field, and of course those two know each other very well, having faced each other in the high school championships in Georgia. It's a great story that they're both vying for Rookie of the Year honors. 2-1 pitch, chopped to the third baseman, and Infante getting the force to Conrad. These two have had some problems. Meanwhile, the Giants waste the leadoff hit. We have no score. We've completed 1 here at AT&T Park. TBS Hot Corner to watch live video companion coverage of every MLB postseason game. Braves coming up in the top of the second inning against Tim Lincecum. Alex Gonzalez, the shortstop. 0-1 the count to Gonzalez, who came over from Toronto in the trade for Yunel Escobar in the middle of July. Had good power numbers with Toronto. Not many home runs since he joined Atlanta, as he goes after a high fastball, and it's 0-2.
Gonzalez, pretty good high fastball hitter, but Lincecum with a little more than Gonzalez could handle on those first two pitches. See if he tries to go up even higher on this one. I guess.
It would have been way over his head, as Lincecum has been wild high when he has missed so far, and it's 1-2. Gonzalez does have one home run against Lincecum. Pitch is up high. 2-2. On deck is Matt Diaz. Chases a pitch low and away, and that is the third straight strikeout for Lincecum, and there's one down in the second.
Well, those two high fastballs out of the zone served a purpose. Changed the eye level of Alex Gonzalez, and then bounces a slider in the dirt over in the left-handed batter's box to get the swing and a miss.
With one out, the Braves left fielder Matt Diaz coming to the plate. Hit .250 with 7 homers and 31 runs batted in. And he swings and misses, and way behind that heater. Diaz is 35 years old, and this is his first postseason. And it's 0-2.
Looks like some of the butterflies have worn off a little bit for Tim Lincecum.
One ball and 2 strikes. Lincecum making his third start against the Braves, 1-1 this year, and in his career he is 6-2 in 8 starts. Swing and a miss. Matt Diaz becomes the 4th consecutive strikeout victim for Tim Lincecum, and there are 2 down here in the second. The lead contributors lost to injury for the Braves, and they were big ones. Chipper Jones with a torn ACL in August. Martin Prado, but a great record at Turner Field, and 25 last at-bat wins, most in the big league baseball, and of course, final season of Bobby Cox's managerial career. 21 years in a row with the Braves, and 14 straight division titles. There's Chipper. Brooks Conrad with the count 0-1. Lincecum has 6 of 7 first pitch strikes thus far. Brooks Conrad, who became a fan favorite, hitting some pitch grand slam home runs, timely hits, has struggled lately defensively, and he was the third baseman, and they switched Conrad with Omar Infante, who now is the third baseman, and Conrad is at second. Crowd wanted that pitch. 2-1 the count.
There's that two-seam grip I talked about. He will throw his fastball with that two-seam grip up in the strike zone, just like that one. Most pitchers that elevate their fastball use a cross-seam grip. Get a truer line, try to keep it up above the top of the strike zone. Lincecum feels comfortable throwing it with 2 seams.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Strikes out the side, and 5 in a row. who was sitting at home after being released by the Tampa Bay Rays, came to San Francisco and had a huge year. Fouls off the first pitch for a strike, drove in 51 runs, hit 18 home runs, and a key element to the Giants this season.
No question about it. And a key element in the ball game tonight. Pat Burrell, a very good low ball hitter. That's where a lot of Derek Lowe's sinkers figure to end up.
In fact, Pat Burrell is hitting .360 in 25 at-bats against Lowe, including a home run. Burrell will be followed by Juan Uribe and Pablo Sandoval. Ground ball, third base, Infante. Throws out Burrell for out number one. Well, the Giants have added some interesting roster moves for this series. Tom Verducci from Sports Illustrated fame joins us.
That's right, Dick. No sooner just a champagne drive that Bruce Bochy, the manager, had some tough decisions to make about the roster. The toughest one was to sit down with Barry Zito and tell him he was not on the roster. Zito's the highest paid player on the Giants and the only starting pitcher with postseason experience, but he did not pitch well down the stretch. And Zito told Bochy when he got the news, "It's my fault. I wish I could have pitched better." But there's good news for Aaron Rowan. The outfielder is on the roster despite slumping at the end. And Bochy expects that his right-handed bat will come into play late in the game against the left-handed Atlanta relievers.
All right, Tom, Uribe with the count 2 balls and no strikes, and that's what you want, a team player. Right, Bob?
Absolutely, yeah, especially when it is, as Tom told us, the highest paid player on the roster. Sitting right up there on the railing with his teammates. The highest paid cheerleader in the major leagues right now.
2 balls and a strike to Uribe with 1 out here in the bottom of the second inning. And there's a drive, hooking foul and out of play. And it's 2-2 to the veteran shortstop. Ground ball again to Infante. And his throw to first base in the dirt and scooped up nicely by Derek Lee for the out. Lee makes a good play backhanded at first base, and there are 2 down. Well, the Giants, of course, their pitching was their story. Led the National League in team ERA and strikeouts. And they had the best closer in Brian Wilson, who led the National League with 48 saves. Top rookie in Buster Posey called up from AAA, and we talked a little bit about him. The pre-All-Star record, they were 6 over 500. Post-All-Star, they went to town. And the San Francisco Giants winning it on the last day of the regular season for Bruce Bochy in his 5th postseason, first with the Giants. Pablo Sandoval goes around. Mike Winters, the third base umpire, indicating. And it's 0-1.
Pablo Sandoval, one of those hitters that starts his swing when he leaves the on-deck circle. This guy has never seen a pitch he didn't like.
Including that one. That's 0-2.
If you let it go, there's a pretty good chance he's going to swing at it.
I would say you're cruel, but you're right on the money.
It's the truth. I mean, that's just what he does. There's been a lot of hitters throughout the history of Major League Baseball who are what we consider to be bad ball hitters.
No balls and 2 strikes. He doesn't go after that one. That's too far outside. And it's 1-2 to Sandoval. He was second in hitting last year and had a disappointing season. Began the year batting 3rd in the order, dropped as low as 8th. Lays off that pitch outside, and it's 2-2. Derek Lowe, who thrives in the big games. He's won 3 consecutive starts against these Giants. His ERA 1.32. It's amazing. And Sandoval strikes out. That's the first strikeout for Derek Lowe in a 1-2-3 inning. For Lowe, we go to the top of the 3rd inning. No score in game 1. Derek Lowe, who's on deck, will be batting second this inning. Rick Ankiel leading off for the Braves. Lays off the first pitch. 1-0 to Ankiel, a former Cardinal. Began as a pitcher, became an outfielder that was acquired from the Royals in a 5-player deal this year. He pops this one up to the right side of the infield. Freddie Sanchez on the outfield grass makes the catch for the first out.
You know, Dick, you mentioned coming into this inning, Lincecum had struck out 5 in a row, including everybody he faced in that second inning. Look at the location of these pitches. Not one of them close to the strike zone. It's really incumbent on these Braves hitters to lay off pitches out of the zone, make Lincecum throw a lot of pitches, try to force him to come into that strike zone with a hittable fastball.
He's got the pitcher Derek Lowe, who takes a strike. Lowe hitting .151, knocked in 3 runs in the regular season.
Of course, it's easy for me to say. I'm sitting up here in the press box.
Well, you were down there. Not only you were down there, you were down there in San Francisco, and you had many outstanding years, very popular player here for the Giants for so many seasons.
And I'd have swung at all those strike 3 pitches, too.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. Call strike 3, and Lowe goes down. That is the 6th strikeout. And the stadium perspective comes courtesy of Sony PlayStation's MLB 10, The Show.
A very tough ballpark to hit home runs. That's what they call Triples Alley in right center field. 421 feet away from home plate. You can get some cheapies right down either line. But that wall in right field, a variety of different surfaces. There's chain link fence, there's bricks, there's padded wall. Very tough for a right fielder to play caroms off of that wall.
And then you got vertical yellow lines that affect the ground rules here, as Omar Infante, leadoff hitter, coming up for the second time and takes a strike. He doubled on a 3-1 count to start the Braves' first inning. And then Lincecum shut the door. And a comeback. And that's another 1-2-3 inning. So 9 in a row set down by Lincecum. No score in the middle of the third. no score. Each team has a hit, and there you see the 6 strikeouts by Tim Lincecum. But Derek Lowe is on the mound, and he'll be facing Cody Ross, the number 8 hitter, and the pitcher Lincecum in the top of the order, Andres Torres, here in the 3rd inning. Cody Ross playing right field, takes ball 1, claimed off of Wade Bruce from the Marlins in late August, and has always hit well at AT&T Park. The moves made by the Giants during this season. 2 balls and no strikes. Lowe has fallen behind a few of the hitters early on here, Bob.
And not as much of a factor for Derek Lowe as a lot of pitchers in the major leagues because of that sinking heavy fastball. He can come right back in the zone here 2-0 and probably get a ground ball.
He gets a called strike. He'll take that 2-1. Derek Lowe, of course, won Game 7 of the 2004 ALCS when the Red Sox down 3-0 won 4 straight, and then won the clinching game in the World Series that same year for the Red Sox against St. Louis. Lowe falling behind 3-1 with the pitcher on deck.
Well, you can see his reaction after the release of that changeup on the 2-1 pitch. Just has trouble finding a good release point on that off-speed pitch right now. Basically been sinker, cutter, slider up to this point. Just can't find that changeup.
Ball 4, and the second walk issued by Lowe. The leadoff man, Cody Ross, is on with Lincecum coming up. Time now for Language of the Game, brought to you by Foster's. Tonight we're talking team earned run average. ERA is computed by taking the number of earned runs allowed, multiplying by 9, and dividing by innings pitched. You do the math. As you can see, the Giants pitching staff led the National League in ERA this season. Atlanta finished 3rd. Looking to sacrifice his Lincecum. And it's strike 1 with Infante and Lee coming in from the corners.
Now, Lincecum not a great handler of the bat. However, he did put down 13 sacrifice bunts during the regular season. That's his job right here, trying to get it to the first base side of the field, keep it away from Infante.
Squares around and bunts this foul, and it's 0-2. The question is, does Bruce Bochy having him bunt with 2 strikes?
I would tend to think so. I mean, we've talked so much about the pitching domination in this series. I would think you try to move the runner every time you can with a pitcher at the plate. With Derek Lowe on the mound, if you let him swing away, there's a chance he'll ground into a double play.
Squares around and bunts, and it's a fair ball and a perfect sacrifice as Infante going over to Brooks Conrad covering. So with 2 strikes, Tim Lincecum sacrifices Cody Ross the second with 1 out.
I mentioned Lincecum trying to bunt the ball to the first base side of the field on the first 2 attempts, but when you're bunting with 2 strikes, you just want to get it on the ground somewhere. Lincecum this time able to dump it right out in front of home plate. Infante, charging hard, is able to come in and make the play.
So with 1 out, the Giants have a runner in scoring position for the first time, and Andres Torres, who led off the game with a single through the hole in right field, and then erased on a double play. First pitch is a strike, and when you have 2 outstanding pitching stats, everything is magnified in a game like this.
Every base runner becomes huge. Every opportunity you have to try to capitalize as best as you can. You just don't know how many shots you're going to get at these 2 great pitchers.
It's in the dirt. 1-1 to Torres.
I think I find it kind of odd that Andres Torres, listed at 5'9" in the Giants media guide, probably uses the longest bat in the major leagues. That's a 35-inch long bat. Very few players use that long of a bat.
Pitch is inside. 2 balls and a strike. Derek Lowe, who is 37 years old, a native of Dearborn, Michigan. This is his 14th season in the big leagues. And he has been lights out against the Giants. Reaching out and a ground ball hit to Conrad. Bobbles the ball. The throw at first, not in time. And there you see the Braves defense rearing its ugly head here And Ross will go to third, and Torres is safe at first. And that should be charged an error. An error charged to Conrad at second.
Boy, and when you've made a lot of errors at the tail end of the regular season, as Conrad has, you tend to get the yips a little bit. No rhythm whatsoever as he came in from his second base position, got caught between. That ball actually hit him on the left foot. And with the speed of Andres Torres, he's able to leg it out.
And in the kind of game that you've been describing, a play like that becomes huge. And for Brooks Conrad, that is the fifth error he has made in as many games. And here is Freddie Sanchez with an opportunity. The Giants trying to cash in. Braves, most errors since the All-Star break. Sanchez bounced into a double play. There's a pitch out. And ball one. Cody Ross is at third. Torres at first with one away. The runner to second, comebacker, and they've got Ross caught in a rundown. And finally the tag put on by Derek Lee, and sliding into third is Torres, and Freddie Sanchez goes into second base with two out. So the Braves catch a break there by getting the runner at third.
Cody Ross just caught in no man's land over there at third base. If the runner at first was not breaking on the pitch, I could see him breaking for home plate. But that ball tapped right back to the pitcher, Derek Lowe, and he did his job. He checked at second, saw he had no play, checked the lead runner at third base, realized he did have a play on Cody Ross. The ensuing rundown produces the second out of the inning. The Giants still with two runners in scoring position, but now with two outs.
And it's Aubrey Huff, who had 86 runs batted in, walked his first time up. First pitch is a called strike, so that play went from Derek Lowe to Omar Infante, Brian McCann. And then it went back to Lowe, and then Derek Lee put the tag on. As the runners advance to second and third, two down. On the inside corner, good pitch by Lowe, who is ahead of Huff now, two strikes.
That's the one they call the off-the-body sinker. Starts inside off the plate. Look at that tailing movement right back to the inside corner. Very tough to pull the trigger on that pitch for a left-handed hitter.
Derek Lowe trying to pitch out of this. A walk and an error and a sacrifice. Out Huff. So Derek Lowe gets out of it, and the Braves are fortunate to do so as two runners are left in scoring position. Jason Hayward will be leading off for the Braves in a scoreless game when they come up in the fourth. Hayward batting and Buster Posey behind the plate. Two rookies from Georgia, and they have a history. Hayward flied out to left field his first time up. He'll be followed by Derek Lee and Brian McCann against Tim Lincecum. The first pitch is up high, ball one. And it's 2-0. Well, they've got quite a history, don't they, back in Georgia? Tom Verducci.
They do, Dick. It's not the first time that Buster Posey and Jason Hayward have met in the playoffs. 5 years ago, of course, it was the Georgia State Championships 4A playoffs. And Buster Posey actually began the series pitching for his high school team, Lee County, and took the loss in game number 1. Now, this turned out to be an epic series that they still talk about in Georgia. In game 2, Jason Hayward and Buster Posey played a little home run derby, and Jason's team came back and won that game 14-10. And in the third and deciding game, Jason Hayward's team won it by a score of 16-14. There's Buster on the mound. He gave up one unearned run, and Jason Hayward, a sophomore, goes deep in game 2, but Buster Posey answers back with a home run of his own to tie the series, going to the game 3, in which Jason Hayward knocked in 3 runs on this double, and his Henry County team won the championship series. Now, Dick, they combined to go 12 for 19 in that 3-game series. That was a little bit of an indication of the greatness that we've seen this year. And
that's what we have right now. And I wonder, Bob, whether they talked to each other when Hayward came to the plate. Here's Derek Lee, and the pitch to Lee, missing 1-0.
Well, the thing that amazes me, Dick, is their swings are very similar to 5 years ago when they were playing in high school against each other. They look very, very similar to the swings they feature now.
Posey going to the mound to talk to Tim Lincecum, and that's one of the things you brought out, that he has the confidence and the ability as a rookie to go to the mound and talk to a Tim Lincecum, and Lincecum will listen to him.
Well, he just has a great feel for the game. It saves Dave Rigetti, the pitching coach, a trip to the mound here to slow Lincecum down, trying to get ahead of himself a little bit too much, walking the leadoff in.
Lee fouls it off, and the count 1-1. Hayward with the leadoff walk and the first pass issued by Lincecum tonight.
And you know, Dick, sometimes it makes no difference what you say when you go to the mound. Just break the rhythm. Okay, let's start over again, get back into the strike zone, do what you've been doing.
Brian McCann, the leading run producer for the Braves, waiting to hit. 1-1 the count to Lee. Hayward, by the way, stole 11 bases this year in 17 tries. Stretching his lead, held on by Aubrey Huff. Lee pops it up to the right side. And Huff giving way to Freddie Sanchez, who makes the catch for out number 1. What about Posey as a pitcher, Mr. Verducci?
Well, we saw that video of him pitching in high school, Dick. He actually was a closer in college as well at Florida State. And Bruce Bochy does not discount that experience. He believes that his pitching ability in high school and college has shortened his learning curve in terms of calling a game behind the plate on the big league level.
Bob Brentley, you ever think of pitching?
No. I wasn't very good in Little League. I don't think I'd have been much better at the big league level, so I'd be content to wear the gear.
Brian McCann fouls off the first pitch for a strike.
But it just speaks to the overall athletic ability of Buster Posey. He played shortstop, he played third base, he played outfield, he pitched, he caught. I guess the big question was, where was he going to settle? And I think he's found his spot.
When he did come up on May 29th, he did play first base for the first month before Bruce Bochy put it behind the plate. And a fly ball hit to right field. Cody Ross is back there, has a lot of room. And he makes the catch for the second out. As Hayward gets back to first, so Brian McCann retired for the second time. 2 out to Alex Gonzalez.
Boy, and even though the result was a fly ball to deep right field, Lincecum got away with one right there. That was narrowly missed being a home run. McCann was right on that pitch, just got under it a little bit. A mile-high fly ball just short of the warning track in right field.
Diving back is Hayward.
Brian McCann, as you mentioned earlier, led this Braves team in RBI this season. Got a fastball out over the plate where he could extend his arms. He knew he didn't get enough of it. Got too much air underneath that ball. But a real good swing.
Fastball over for a strike to Gonzalez. And it's 0-1. Season series was 4-3, the Braves over the Giants. That doesn't carry much stock, considering that the Giants took 2 out of 3 in April and the Braves 3 out of 4 in August. So you can spin the numbers any way you want. The one thing you could say about the Braves, however, is that their road record, they were 11 games under 500, is the worst road record of all the playoff teams we have. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 down to Alex Gonzalez. Took something off that pitch, and it's popped up in foul territory. Aubrey Huff makes the catch, and that'll do it. We saw Hayward bat, and we're going to see Buster Posey come up, leading off for the Giants when they come up in the 4th inning of a scoreless game. Hit by Blackberry. No score. Giants batting in the bottom of the 4th inning. Buster Posey, Pat Burrell, and Juan Uribe facing Derek Lowe. And the count 1-0 to Posey, who bounced into a fielder's choice his first time up. Swings and misses on the slider, 1-1.
Bruce Bochy told us before the ball game that the 3 days off after the end of the regular season and the beginning of this division series probably benefited Buster Posey more so than any other Giant. He was in the lineup pretty much on an everyday basis. He said his legs were getting a little heavy toward the end of the season, so Boch was hoping that the 3 days off would really benefit Buster.
A lot of the fans here saying, why is Buster out of the lineup? Sometimes they don't understand. A base hit into left field through the hole, and the second hit of the game for the Giants. Posey with a leadoff base hit. And we caught up with the pitching coach of the Braves, Roger McDowell, and talked about how Derek Lowe nimbly got out of that third inning jam.
Well, he did. He made some nice pitches to Sanchez on the hit and run, and also to Huff to get out of that, unscathed. So, it's not something he's not accustomed to. He's been in these situations before, and he's going to go out and battle and make some pitches and rely on his defense.
Roger, as a pitching coach, you have to deal with all different kinds of pitchers, but you yourself during your playing career had that power sinker. Does that help you in dealing with Derek Lowe since he features that power sinker?
Yeah, a little bit. The other part of it is I didn't have anything else to go with. Derek has a full complement of pitches that he can go to, and has very much a lot of confidence in those pitches to throw at any count.
Thanks for being with us, Roger.
All right, thank you.
Derek Lowe throwing over to first, and Posey gets back in time. Giants with 2 hits. Andres Torres led off in the first inning with a hit. He was erased on a double play. Pat Burrell, who grounded to third, and close at first base. And Paul Nart, the first base umpire, right there. Dana DeMuth, by the way, is the home plate umpire this evening. Nard is at first, Paul Emmel at second, Mike Winters is at third, and Jerry Lane down the left field line, and Ed Hickok down the right field. 1 ball and 1 strike to Burrell.
Yeah, we see Derek Lowe checking on Buster Posey over there at first base. We asked Bruce Bochy about maybe getting some runners in motion since Derek Lowe is such a sinker ball pitcher. He says, yeah, unfortunately, we've got a couple guys that when we put them in motion, you won't know they're in motion. And they don't have a lot of team speed, save for Andres Torres at the top of the order.
One and one to Pat Burrell. Missing outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. We've had enough of the teams with leadoff batters on. Torres with a leadoff single in the first. Cody Ross walked to start the third inning, and now Posey with a base hit begins the fourth. It's a strike as Burrell offered at it, and the count even 2-2. Inside, count is full to Burrell. Juan Uribe on deck for the Giants. Runner is off. 3-2 pitch, strikeout, and the throw to second, not in time. And Posey has a stolen base. He did not steal a base in the regular season, but has one here, and there's 1 out as Burrell strikes out.
It's a danger with a strikeout hitter at the plate, starting a runner who's not accustomed to trying to steal bases, but Posey got himself a decent jump. Not the most picture-perfect slide I've ever seen, but ends up staying on the base and puts himself into scoring position here for Juan Uribe.
An awkward slide as we take a look at it for Posey as well with his right foot. Here's Juan Uribe. So the Giants with a runner in scoring position.
He's just running too fast. It's hard to slow down when you're going that fast, but watch the right foot. Hits the bag, kind of bends underneath his body. He ends up with his rear end on top of the bag at second.
1-0 to Uribe, who grounded to Infante at third. Fouls his corner. Tim Flannery, the third base coach, has to do a little acrobatic work. There's Flannery checking on Posey with the lead at second. Which is outside. It's 2-1 to Uribe. Juan Uribe, who hit some timely home runs for the Giants. And Bruce Bochy telling us that when the Giants were scoring down the stretch, they were getting a lot of pop and a lot of home runs here. Here's the 2-1. And a line drive down the left field line. Foul.
Well hit, but hooking foul. That'll happen a lot of times with that sinker working its way in on the hands of a right-handed hitter. Even when you do get the barrel on it, you can't keep it fair down that third baseline.
Swing went around in Juan Uribe, and he is a strikeout victim. Second in a row for Lowe, and his fourth in the game. A big out, and there are 2 down to Pablo Sandoval. And tonight's pitching comparison is brought to you by Liberty Mutual.
Pretty much what we expected at the outset. Tim Lincecum relying on the strikeout pitch to get himself out of a couple of jams. Derek Lowe relying on the ground ball to get him out of jams. You see the 2 base on balls in the early going for Derek Lowe. In an earlier start this season against the Giants, he went 6 innings and walked 7 Giants hitters. Although he came away with a victory in that game, he only gave up 4 hits and 1 run. 7 walks.
Well, they're going to walk Sandoval with first base open and pitch to Cody Ross. So not taking any chances with Pablo Sandoval, who was 4 for 11 against Derek Lowe. And Cody Ross, who walked, got to third base before he got caught in a rundown coming to the plate here.
You know, Dick, I know that's a percentage move, walk the lefty to get the righty to the plate, but I felt like Cody Ross had a really good at-bat against Derek Lowe his first time up when he drew a leadoff walk back in the 3rd inning. We know that Sandoval is very much a free swinger, and with the runner in scoring position, he would swing at the rosin bag.
And he struck out his first time up. So here is the gamble, if you want to put it that way, and Derek Lowe facing Cody Ross with runners at first and second, 2 down. Remember, Ross has hit well here at AT&T Park, was a member of the Marlins. Time called, and McCann goes to the mound to talk to his pitcher. Well, tomorrow on TBS, Division Series coverage continues. First up, the Reds and the Phillies battle at the bank in Game 2, and then it's back here in San Francisco for Game 2 between the Braves and the Giants. Coverage begins tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time with TBS MLB On Deck, presented by Jeep. 1-0 to Ross. Tim Lincecum is on deck. It's 2-0. Bobby knows he has the pitcher waiting to hit. And possibility of loading the bases to face Lincecum if it comes to that.
Well, and I think because of that, Cody Ross needs to, at least in the back of his mind, think about expanding his own strike zone just a little bit if it's a pitch he can get to.
Ground ball through, Infante into left field. They're going to wave Posey in. Here comes the throw to the plate, not in time, and the Giants lead it 1-0. So Cody Ross crosses up the strategy of Bobby Cox here with a base hit to drive in the first run.
You know, Dick, ball players talk about a guy looking hitterish at the plate. Well, Cody Ross has looked hitterish tonight. That looked like a play that Infante could have made. Just a step or two to his left, kind of moved his glove a little bit right at the end to allow it to get through into left field. And Buster Posey, off on contact, was able to score from second base.
And here's Lincecum, takes ball 1. So Cody Ross with an RBI single. And already some of the pickups in mid to late season paying dividends here for the Giants in the first game of this division series. 1-0. And it's down low. And Lowe is behind. Lincecum, 2 balls, no strikes.
Well, that's a ground ball that Chipper Jones and or Martin Prado gobbles up with no problem.
And that was the 25th pitch of the inning for Derek Lowe. He gets that one over, and it's 2-1. So 25 pitches here in the inning and 70 so far in the game. And the count 2-2. Sandoval on at second, Cody Ross at first. 1-0, the Giants lead here in the fourth. Full count. And the runners are off, and Lincecum strikes out, and that ends it, but not before. Cody Ross knocks in the first run of the series. The Giants take a 1-0 lead after 4. Matt Diaz takes high ball 1 as the Braves bat in the 5th inning, trailing the Giants 1-0. Lincecum has allowed 2 base runners, a leadoff double by Infante in the 1st inning and a leadoff walk to Hayward in the 4th. Deep fly ball to center field. Torres is under and makes the catch. Had a couple of hard hit balls against Lincecum, but to no avail, and there's 1 out in the 5th.
Hanging slider that time. Diaz gave it a ride to straightaway center field, but you really have to put a charge on it to get it out of this ballpark to center field, around to the gap in right center.
Switch hitting Brooks Conrad struck out his first time up. Lincecum has struck out 6. He had 5 in a row and 6 out of 7, and he has walked 1. 0-1 to Conrad. balls and 2 strikes. You had a couple of good points last inning when the Giants scored their run, Bob. Number 1, pitching to Cody Ross instead of the free-swinging Sandoval, walking him. And then the ground ball that it looked like Infante could handle, which brings up, the porous Braves defense, which has already affected them in this game.
Well, and certainly there's nothing you can do about the injuries to their third basemen that are on the disabled list right now. That happens in this game, but for a ground ball pitcher like Derek Lowe, he relies so heavily on his infield defense to make plays for him.
Not only that, Chipper Jones had driven in 46 runs, and Martin Prado, who was an all-star, hit over 300, had 15 homers and 66 RBIs, so a lot of punch was lost from the Braves lineup with those injuries. Swing and a miss, foul tip into the glove of Posey, and Conrad goes down for out number 2, strikeout number 7.
Lincecum has really settled in here, using all of his pitches now. An 84-mile-an-hour changeup that time. The bottom just fell out of that pitch. He was a little overamped in that first inning of the ball game when he couldn't get anything down into the strike zone, but has really settled in as this game has moved on. First curveball of the game there from Tim Lincecum.
1-0 to Rick Ankiel, who popped up to Sanchez his first time. Swings and misses on a fastball up in the zone again. 1-1. There's ball, strike 2. Ground ball handled by Aubrey Huff. He'll make the play unassisted, and a 1-2-3 inning for Tim Lincecum. In the middle of the 5th inning, the Giants lead the Braves 1-0. Welcome back to AT&T Park in San Francisco. Dick Stockton along with Bob Brenly and Tom Verducci from Sports Illustrated. Top of the order for the Giants, Andres Torres, followed by Freddie Sanchez and Aubrey Huff. Giants leading 1-0. Showing bunt and taking the call strike is Torres, who was 1 for 2, but reached base twice, singled, and was safe on an error. Infante playing on the edge of the grass at third base. There's a ground ball foul down the first base line. 0-2. 61 degrees at the start of this game, but a very pleasant night here in the Bay Area. Giants in the postseason for the first time since 2003, when they lost to the Marlins in the NLDS. Just getting a piece of it as Torres stays alive. Derek Lowe has walked 3 and struck out 5 in allowing 3 hits. '77th pitch from Lowe. It's hit in the air to right center field. Hayward coming over, and it's going to be caught. A great play made by Ankiel at center field. In right center, Ankiel had a long way to go and made the catch to rob Torres of extra bases.
Now Rick Ankiel with great speed out there in center field, and he needed every bit of it to run this one down. He was shading Torres to left center field. Drive toward the gap in right center. He was able to close ground quickly. Actually almost overran that ball, but able to keep the Giants' leadoff hitter off base with a nice running catch.
One of the hardest hit balls off of Derek Lowe so far. And there is Sanchez offering it the first pitch, and a tough play down the right field line, and it's going to be foul as Hayward coming over to chase it. So Freddie Sanchez will come back to the plate with the count 0-1. He is 0 for 2. Bounced into a double play in the first inning. Ball's second base. Conrad makes the play, 2 down. That'll bring up Aubrey Huff and Tom Verducci. There are always things players do to keep their teammates loose in the clubhouse. Isn't that the case?
That is the case, certainly with Aubrey Huff. On August 31st, Giants had lost 4 out of 5, and Aubrey Huff walked around the clubhouse wearing nothing but an anniversary present from his wife, a red thong. He said, "Fellas, we've got 30 games left. We're going 20-10. And from that point on, the Giants went 20-10. And you better believe underneath that Giants uniform tonight, Aubrey Huff has that red thong.
Normally we would have follow-up for you, Tom, but we're just going to let that stand as it is.
I'm just glad the Giants don't wear see-through pants.
0-1 pitch. And Huff grounds on the short hop to Conrad, and a 1-2-3 inning for the second time tonight for Derek Lowe. Giants are out. We've completed 5, 1-0. Exactly what we thought we might see. Travelers mid-game recap. The Giants getting the only run of the game when Cody Ross singled through the glove of Omar Infante into left field, scoring Buster Posey with the only run of the game. And Tim Lincecum has 5 shutout innings in which he has struck out 7 hitters. Now the Braves, with pitcher Derek Lowe leading off here in the 6th inning, takes strike 1. Lowe took a called 3rd strike his first time up. 1-1 to Lowe. Goes after the high fastball. 1-2. First postseason appearance for Tim Lincecum, who won the Cy Young Award in the National League the last 2 seasons. 2-2. That's the 8th strikeout of the game for Lincecum as we check in with Matt Weiner in Atlanta. Matt. All right, Matt, thank you very much. And the Texas Rangers taking a 2-0 lead over the Tampa Bay Rays as Omar Infante takes ball 1. Infante has the only base hit, and that was in the 1st inning, and a double to left center field. High fly ball to left field, and Pat Burrell camps under it. He's got it. 2 down in the 6th. Jason Hayward coming up for the 3rd time. Another aspect to this game as we look at it here in 2010, that the Atlanta Braves and the Giants are wearing the same style uniforms they wore as far back as 60 years ago. Same design. Braves started in Boston, moved to Milwaukee, and then to Atlanta. Giants were once in New York. 1-1 to Hayward. Now it's 1-2 to Hayward, who walked his last time up. Just missed. 2-2.
That's been the book on young Jason Hayward, from the belt up to the letters inside, trying to crowd him in on the hands. Very good plate coverage, really good low ball hitter.
They love the strikeout king here in San Francisco. 9 set down by Tim Lincecum. After 5.5, 1-0, the Giants. The Giants leading the Braves 1-0 game 1 of the best of 5 National League Division Series. Derek Lowe and Tim Lincecum disappointing no one. The pitcher's duel that was anticipated. The first pitch to rookie Buster Posey is a called strike. Posey singled, stole second, and scored the only run of the game in the 4th. That's down low, 1-1. Posey had a 21-game hitting streak from the beginning of July to the end. Two and one, followed by Pat Burrell and Juan Uribe. Deep to center field. Rick Ankiel going way back. And Ankiel can't handle it. It's off the base of the wall. And Posey rounding second. He's heading for third. Here's the throwback. Not in time. And in with a stand-up triple is Buster Posey.
Dick, Derek Lowe, being a sinker ball pitcher, obviously needs to keep the ball down. He was able to do so on the first 3 pitches. A called strike at the bottom of the zone. Goes a little bit lower with a changeup, a little bit lower with a changeup, and then makes a mistake with a cut fastball up over the heart of the plate. Buster Posey with a deep drive to straightaway center. Rick Ankiel got turned around. We talked about Triple's alley being in right center field, but when you bang them off the wall and mishandle them in center field, you can also end up with a triple. Long run for Rick Ankiel, gets back to the wall, just misses. And then the real miscue was Fanning when he tried to pick the ball up off the warning track. That gave Posey the opportunity to advance to third base with nobody out.
So they're going to rule it a double. And an error charged to Rick Ankiel, and the Braves have their infield in this kind of a game. 1-0, 6th inning. Braves can't afford to let the Giants get another run, and the pitch is inside the Burrell, and it's 2-1.
We talked to both managers before the game, and I asked, would you play your infield in early in the game, as we get a look at the Giants dugout reacting to that double in air, putting a runner at third base. And both Bobby Cox and Bochy both said they would play their infield in even early in the game to try to cut off a run because of the pitching in this series.
So Pat Burrell, who is 0 for 2, the count 2 balls and 2 strikes to him. There's the infield up. Nobody out. Buster Posey now 2 for 3 on at third base. And Johnny Venters, the left-hander, and an outstanding rookie year, is throwing in the Atlanta bullpen, and a curveball in for the strike 3, and Burrell goes down. And a big first out for Derek Lowe as Venters starts to throw.
Now that's a cutter on the inside corner. It really complements the sinker well. The sinker, a pitch that will dive bomb down and into a right-handed hitter. That pitch goes the opposite direction. A slight movement away from the right-handed hitter. And when you throw it on the inside corner, it can freeze those right-handed hitters.
Here is Juan Uribe, who can sting the ball. And he fouls this out of play to the right. Uribe has bounced to third and struck out. So this is a big hitter for Derek Lowe, who has thrown 91 pitches to try to keep it a 1-0 game. That's down low, 1-1.
I'll tell you, Dick, a walk is not the worst thing in the world that could happen right here with Juan Uribe at the plate. Pablo Sandoval in the on-deck circle has grounded into a boatload of double plays this year, 26 to be exact.
In the dirt, and a good play by McCann with the runner at third. It's 2-1. So the Braves have committed 2 errors now. They were 12th in the National League in the field. And they really put a lot on Derek Lowe's shoulders as a result of those misplays.
And occasionally the byproduct will be that a pitcher tries to be too fine. Instead of throwing that ball in the middle of the plate and let the movement produce ground balls, he tries to scoop pitches out on the corners a little bit more, tries to go for swinging strikes rather than let the batters put the ball in play.
And a good pitch, fouled at the plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Uribe. With 1 out, Uribe knocked in 85 runs for the Giants this year, just 1 short of the club leader, Aubrey Huff. And the count is full. Payoff pitch. Ball 4. And as you pointed out, not the worst thing. Giants runners at first and third with 1 out. The double play is in order now with Sandoval. And Bobby Cox coming out, and he wants Johnny Venters right now. Here in the 6th inning with Giant runners on first and second and 1 out. And Sandoval, the switch hitter, coming up. Venters will come in. We'll be back. A pitching change, and 25-year-old left-hander Johnny Venters, who led National League rookie pitchers in earned run average with 1.95, also with appearances in 79, coming on here for Derek Lowe.
Another guy with a power sinker from the left side this time. He'll throw his sinker in the mid to upper 90s. Also has a very sharp late-breaking slider he'll throw up there in the mid to upper 80s.
Derek Lowe worked 5 1/3 innings, allowed 4 hits, struck out 6, walked 4, and responsible for the base runners at the corners. So here's Pablo Sandoval, who has struck out and was walked intentionally to pitch to Cody Ross, who crossed up the Braves with an RBI single. That's been the only run thus far. Venters hits a ground ball to shortstop. Gonzalez to Conrad. Double play, and the Braves get out of it on 1 pitch by Johnny Venters. And after 6 innings here in San Francisco, it remains 1-0 Giants. On TBS is presented by BlackBerry. Giants cling to a 1-0 lead, and the Braves helped by 2 double plays. And the heart of the order for Atlanta here in the 7th inning, facing Tim Lincecum. Derek Lee, starting it off, takes ball 1. Lee, McCann, and Gonzalez. Lee struck out and popped to second. That's up high, 2-0. Nate Scherholz moves to right field, and Cody Ross takes over in left. Pat Burrell out of the game now for the Giants. Posey out to the mound. Well, TBS this November, the most anticipated television event since television's last most anticipated television event. Conan premieres November 8th at 10 Central, only on TBS. A good breaking ball, that time by Lincecum. Evens the count at 2-2. Full count. Here is the 3-2. And a foul out of play. Derek Lee, in that last series that the Braves played against the Phillies, drove in 5 runs a week ago Friday. Strikes out on a fastball in on the fist. 10th strikeout of the game for Lincecum. 1 out here in the 7th inning. And here comes Brian McCann, who has hit a home run off of Tim Lincecum back on April 11th in the 1st inning. 2-run home run. The first one allowed by Lincecum at AT&T Park in 2 years. McCann has had success against the Giant ace. And a ball hit out to left center field. It's going to be a base hit. And going all the way to the wall as Torres can't cut it off. And Brian McCann sails into second with a 1-out double.
Nice piece of opposite field hitting by Brian McCann, the Braves catcher. That pitch up, belt high, out over the plate, going with it all the way. Looked like Torres thought he could have cut that ball off right there and maybe held McCann to a single, but chose to play it off the wall instead. And Braves have a runner in scoring position with 1 out.
And both their hits have been doubles. Here is Alex Gonzalez, who struck out and fouled out to Aubrey Huff at first base. 1-0 the count to Gonzalez.
Well, it's going to take a very well-placed base hit to the outfield to score Brian McCann from second base.
Fastball up in his eyes, and he misses. 1-1.
But that being said, Dick, I have to believe Brian Snitker, the third base coach for the Braves, is going to be very aggressive if indeed Gonzalez can get that ball to the outfield.
Like you say, how many chances are you going to get against this pitcher?
Right.
1 out, and McCann on at second base. Foul tip, caught by Posey, and it's 1-2. Some are wearing T-shirts and some are bundled up tonight. Popped up. Huff. Here the Braves dugout. Can't make a play. So Lincecum going to work again with the count 1-2. Native of Renton, Washington. That's a suburb of Seattle.
Pitch count very much under control for Tim Lincecum after that rocky first inning when he threw 20. The third inning, where he only threw 7, really allowed him to settle into this game.
And reaching out, and it's grabbed by Lincecum, who flips to first for the second out as McCann goes to third. 2 out, and Brian McCann at third to Matt Diaz coming to the plate. Braves with bullpen activity. Now they have the right-hander Craig Kimbrell throwing. Here's Kimbrell. Young pitcher with a lot of promise. Diaz 0 for 2. Taking a timeout momentarily. By the way, as a result of that strikeout of Derek Lee, the 10th of the game, the Giants' franchise record was matched by Lincecum. It's been done 4 times in the World Series, including once by the great Carl Hubbell back in 1933, and Lincecum ties the postseason mark. 2 out, and Diaz hits it in the air, and a play for Andres Torres, and that'll do it. So the Braves leave a runner at third. And in the middle of the 7th, it remains 1-0. An obvious question. Anything surprise you in this game, Bob?
You know, Dick, maybe for the first time ever, this game comes exactly as advertised. 2 great performances by the starting pitching, some shaky Atlanta defense, some timely Giants hitting, and here we are with a 1-0 ball game in the 7th.
Cody Ross taking ball 1. Ross knocking in the only run of the game. Driving in Buster Posey. That came right after Pablo Sandoval was walked with Posey on at second. There you see Moylan and Dunn, 2 relievers of the Braves. And heated activity starting for Atlanta. Johnny Venters who got out of the 6th inning with 1 pitch double play, ending that threat. But the count 2-1 to Ross with Lincecum on deck. Off the end of the bat, and a roller to Derek Lee, who makes the play, and there's 1 out.
Dick, we talked at the top of the show that this is the year of the pitchers, and the numbers would certainly bear that out. ERA down, opponents' batting average down, home runs allowed down, and we've seen dominating performances already in this postseason by Roy Halladay of the Philadelphia Phillies, and tonight Tim Lincecum, and to a lesser extent Derek Lowe, dominating an opposing lineup.
And Lincecum leading off, or with 1 out, the batter sacrificed and struck out. C.J. Wilson with 6 1/3 shutout innings today for the Texas Rangers. 1-1 to Lincecum with 1 away. Top of the order. Following with Andres Torres. Johnny Bender's pitch outside. Bender's, like so many pitchers we see today, coming back from Tommy John surgery in their careers. Strike 3, and Lincecum goes down for out number 2. Well, TBS this November, welcome to college. For these 4 freshmen, the rush is on. Don't miss the series premiere of Glory Days, November 16th at 10, 9 Central, only on TBS. 2 down to Andres Torres. Single reached on an error. Hit a fly ball to center field. Rick Ankiel made a good play on. In right center. 0-1 the count to Torres.
And I'll tell you, Dick, with Billy Wagner announcing his retirement at the end of the season, we may be looking at the Braves closer of next year on the mound right now. Filthy stuff.
And he strikes him out to end that quick 1-2-3 inning for Johnny Benders. And we move quickly to the 8th inning. Still a 1-run Giant lead. Catch all the action of the 2010 Major League Baseball Division Series right here on TBS. Top of the 8th inning, bottom third of the order for the Atlanta Braves, starting with Brooks Conrad, the switch hitter, who has struck out twice against Tim Lincecum tonight. Lincecum has struck out 10. Giants have bullpen activity, as do the Braves. And with the pitcher spot up third, we will see a pinch hitter for sure. 0-2. Javier Lopez, the left-hander, and Sergio Romo for the Giants. The bullpen has been brilliant this year. Crowd on its feet. 1-2. Lincecum has one shutout this year, that against the Mets. Lincecum has given up 2 doubles, has struck out 10. Fly ball to shortstop. Juan Uribe makes the catch. 1 out in the 8th inning. Let's go back to the 4th inning in a key play of this game, Bob.
After leadoff singer Buster Posey running on strike 3 to Pat Burrell, was called safe at second base by Paul Emmel. When you stop it right there, the tag was applied before Posey got his foot on the bag. I'm not one to defend umpires, but the angle that Paul Emmel had, I don't believe he could see the tag on Posey before he got his foot on the base.
Rick Ankiel with a swing and a miss.
Yeah, right there, the tag is applied around the belt of Buster Posey before that left foot comes down on the bag at second. But the angle that Paul Emmel had, he was screened by Buster Posey's upper body. Now from this angle, you can see the look that Paul Emmel had. He can't really see if a tag was applied or not.
Here's the 0-2 pitch, and Ankiel fouls it out of play, and that proved to be a significant play because with Posey at second and with 2 outs, Sandoval was walked intentionally to pitch to Cody Ross, who delivered the base hit past Infante into left field, and that's been the only run of the game. 0-2 pitch, strike 3, and Ankiel goes down. Eleven strikeouts on the 100th pitch by Tim Lincecum. And Eric Hinsky will come up and pinch hit for Johnny Venters. Hinsky fouls off the first pitch out of play. Hinsky has a home run against Tim Lincecum. And it was on August 5th in the 6th inning, Hinsky with a tie-breaking solo home run. And the Braves win 3-2, only hit in 5 career at-bats against the Giant righty. That pitch is down low, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, Hinsky's done a nice job for Bobby Cox off the bench this season. 14 pinch hits, including 3 home runs and 12 driven in the pinch.
And in recent years, if you want to go to the World Series, pick up Eric Hinsky because he has gone to the World Series the last 3 years with 3 different teams. The 1-1. 2 balls and a strike. On deck is the top of the order for Atlanta, Omar Infante, who has 1 of the 2 hits against the Giant righty. Again out of play. is called. Hey, well, this crowd gets very excited every time Lincecum gets 2 strikes on the hitter, and we've seen a lot of that tonight. Strikes out. Number 12.
Telecast is presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
And we're back here with the Giants batting in the bottom of the 8th inning against the new Braves pitcher Peter Moylan. Freddie Sanchez takes ball strike 1. Tim Lincecum. Work is done for the night, and what a job he did. 12 strikeouts, which set a Giant franchise postseason record. Allowed only 3 base runners and 2 hits. As Sanchez is out, lead to Moylan for out number 1 here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Tim Lincecum, who is the National League strikeout leader the last 3 years, gets 12, and the only inning that he did not collect a strikeout, Bob, was in the 4th.
You know, Dick, we assumed Lincecum's evening was over. He was giving high fives and fist bumps and handshakes over in that third base dugout, but there's nobody warming up in that Giants bullpen. They may give him an opportunity to go back out and finish this one.
That could just happen. He's thrown 105 pitches. Meanwhile, Moylan is out of the game. And a new pitcher. Sports. Check out Behind the Mic, presented by Allstate, exclusively on SI.com. Fourth pitcher of the game for the Braves. And left-hander Mike Dunn comes on to face Aubrey Huff with one out here in the eighth inning.
Dunn, another lefty with a real good arm coming out of that Braves bullpen. The one issue he bumps up against occasionally is the inability to find the strike zone. See, 19 innings, 17 base on balls. Doesn't give up very many base hits.
Called up 3 times this year from Gwinnett to AAA farm for the Braves. Came over from the Yankees in the Javier Vasquez trade. Last year, appeared briefly with the Yankees. And here is Huff, who is 0 for 2 with a walk in the first inning. Giants lead 1-0. They've out-hit the Braves 4-2. And a strike to Huff. Looking ahead to the top of the ninth for the Braves, it'll be the top of the order in Fonte, Hayward, and Lee. Check swing, and it's a ball, 1-1.
One thing to keep in mind about Lincecum, in 5 of his last 10 starts of this season, he didn't even throw 100 pitches. He's only gone over the 120 pitch marker. The last time, rather, he went over 120 pitches in a game was back in late May. So he probably has quite a bit of gas left in the tank with the adrenaline and the crowd here at AT&T Park tonight. He may have talked his manager into one more inning.
And you pointed out no one was warming up.
Or at least starting the inning. I would imagine we'll see some activity as he goes out to take the mound.
Those are his numbers, and the 2-1 pitch. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Huff. The only run in the game was Cody Ross's single in the 4th inning, knocking in Buster Posey. Who is on deck? A broken bat off the glove of Conrad, and safe at first will be Huff, and that'll be a base hit with 1 out.
I talk about Mike Dunn coming into the ball game. Good fastball, good slider. He goes to work on Aubrey Huff. A slider for a called strike 1. Comes right back with another one just off of the outside corner of the plate. Misses up and in with another slider. You're sensing a pattern. All sliders here to Aubrey Huff. Finally, Huff cues one right off the end of his bat, off of the outside corner, and Conrad can only get a glove on it with a dive.
And the right-hander Craig Kimbrell gets the call from Bobby Cox. And we'll return to AT&T Park after this. .22-year-old right-hander Craig Kimbrell, who's assuming a bigger role with this club. 21 games this year. He has allowed 1 run over the 21 appearances and averaging nearly 2 strikeouts an inning.
Yeah, 40 punch-outs in 20 2/3 innings. I asked for a scouting report on Craig Kimbrell earlier this afternoon and was told that he's a mirror version of Billy Wagner, the closer. Kind of a short-arm delivery, throws extremely hard, hides the ball well, and obviously opposing hitters are having some issues seeing his pitches.
And he's going to be facing Buster Posey, who is the only player on either team with more than 1 hit tonight. Posey with a single, stolen base, and scored the only run, and then he doubled in a play that Ankiel had problems with. Wound up on third with a double and an error charge to Ankiel. Lincecum going into the locker room right now. High throw to first base. Nearly thrown away by Kimbrel. Braves trying to get something going here in this 8th inning. And a call strike, 0-1. Braves trailing 1-0, and the Giants looking for an insurance run. And now Lincecum is back on the bench. One ball and one strike to Posey. Fastball and a good pitch to hit for the batter. Foul back, 1-2. There you see the record in one-run games. Braves and the Giants. Braves 1 game over 500. The Braves 4 over. Both these teams built for the one-run game. That's what we've got here. 1-2. The runner goes. Up is off, and the throw to second, and he is out. So McCann with a good throw. Great throw, and nailing Huff for out number 2.
And Brian McCann threw out more than 30% of the opposing base stealers this year. Not a great jump by Aubrey Huff, but a perfect throw from Brian McCann right on the money. Good quick tag right down in front of the bag for the out.
2 down and 2-2 the count to Posey. Stays alive. Game 1 of the best of 5. 2 teams, outstanding pitching, and we're seeing it tonight with Lincecum with the edge over Derek Lowe and other factors as to why the Braves are trailing 1-0. Strike 3, and Posey goes down. 1 hit, none left. We go to the 9th. It'll be the top of the order for the Braves. presented by BlackBerry. San Francisco Giants lead the Atlanta Braves 1-0 going into the 9th inning. Tim Lincecum took high fives and fist bumps, put his jacket on, went into the clubhouse, came out to the bench, and here he is on the mound. And facing the top of the order for the Braves in the 9th inning, Omar Infante, Jason Hayward, and Derek Lee. The first pitch taken for a ball. And Brian Wilson, the closer for the Giants, who led the league in saves with 48, begins to warm up. And a ball strike, 1-1.
You know, we saw Lincecum have some adrenaline issues in the first inning. You hope that he doesn't do the same thing here in the 9th, trying to finish this ball game. Missed badly with the first fastball. Back-to-back nasty sliders to jump ahead in the count, 1-2. I think he'll be on a very short leash for Bruce Bochy. If anybody reaches base, I think we're going to see the Giants closing.
Lincecum has given up 2 hits, both doubles, 3 base runners, and Infante, who doubled in the first inning, has one of them. 1-2 pitch and a sharp ground ball, bobbled by Uribe, recovers and throws out Infante for the first out. And this Yahoo MLB stats summary is brought to you by BlackBerry Torch. And you see Infante, who is retired, 3rd in the league in hitting. For detailed MLB stats and information, go to YahooMLB.com now. 1 out to Jason Hayward, the rookie. On base once today with a walk in the 4th inning, 0 for 2 officially. 1-0, the Giants lead, and Lincecum trying to nail it down as he blazes a fastball past Hayward. So Wilson warming up for the Giants. And just in case, Billy Wagner, the Braves closer, in Atlanta's bullpen. 1-1 to Hayward. Tim Lincecum with a 5-1 September and a 1.94 earned run average. Ball's behind 2-1. Jason Schmidt back in 0-3 against the Marlins, the last complete game shutout in postseason for San Francisco. On the outside corner, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here's Wilson. and 2. ~115th pitch of the night for Lincecum. Coming up. Strikeout number 13. 2 down in the ninth.
~13th strikeout of the night for Tim Lincecum. I would venture to guess that about 12 of them have been out of the strike zone. High fastball to start the sequence. Comes back with another fastball off the outside corner. Another high heater. That's what he lives and dies with. Change up on the outside corner for a called strike. Right back up the ladder with the fastball again, and then finishes Hayward with a change up in the dirt.
Takes strike one. 12 of the 13 strikeouts by Lincecum have been swinging strikes. This crowd having a blast. First time that they've been to a postseason game in 7 years. Giants beat the Braves 1-0. A brilliant pitching gem by Tim Lincecum And the Giants take a 1-0 lead over the Braves in this best-of-5 NLDS.
Dominating pitching performance by Tim Lincecum tonight. Perfectly located 92-mile-an-hour heater right on the outside corner at the knees to finish Derek Lee and the Braves in Game 1.
Giants 1-5-0. The Braves 0-2-2. And only in the 4th inning did Tim Lincecum not register a strikeout.
I'll tell you how dominating Tim Lincecum was tonight. It felt like a bigger lead than 1 run. I mean, the Braves were one hanging slider, one hanging changeup away from tying this ball game. But Lincecum just did not make many mistakes tonight where the Braves could get the barrel of the bat on the ball.
A double by Infante in the 1st inning, a walk to Hayward in the 4th, both leading off those innings, and then a 1-out double by Brian McCann, the only base runners allowed by Lincecum tonight. And Derek Lowe on the short end of the pitcher's duel. And right now, let's go down to Tom Verducci with tonight's hero.
Thanks, Dick. Tim Lincecum, your first postseason start. You said you wanted to treat it like any other start, but did it feel as special as it looked?
Yeah, I mean, since the second batter, it almost seemed. I mean, the first batter was a little rough, but everything kind of just went where it was supposed to. Things happened the way they should have.
Well, take me back to the first batter of the game. Your emotions at that point and how you got your emotions under control after the first batter of the game, the leadoff double.
Yeah, I mean, just trying to find the strike zone. I knew I just had to lock it in and turn into game time mode. But, yeah, I just kind of kept going after that.
Your team gets you a run in the 4th inning. Did you believe that was going to be the run that stood up tonight?
Yeah, the way I felt tonight, I felt like it could have, yeah, and it did. So
we get to the 9th inning, over 100 pitches. Was there any discussion about going to someone else?
No, nothing told me, so, yeah.
Tell me about how you felt at that point, Tim, in terms of your stamina and the stuff that you still had late in the game.
Fine. I was just making sure I was still loose, still limber, still had some energy left, and I did. So I, leave it out there on the field.
Finally, how much of the energy in this ballpark tonight were you able to channel in your effort on the mound?
Just getting chills in every inning or so, and just kind of biting yourself and saying this is real. So this is really going on, and we're here. So
1-0 game. You're used to this with Giants baseball. How did it feel?
It felt great. I mean, I don't really know right now. I mean, just still kind of stuck in game mode.
Tim, congratulations. Back to you, Dick.
All right, Tom. Cody Ross with the single, knocking in Buster Posey in the 4th inning for the only run of the game as the Giants beat the Braves 1-0. And Tommy Hanson and Matt Cain will be the pitchers tomorrow night. So for Bob Brenly and Tom Verducci, I'm Dick Stockton saying so long from San Francisco. Thank you for watching TBS, exclusive home to the Division Series and ALCS. Now it's time for Inside MLB, presented by Captain Morgan. Remember to drink responsibly. Right now, here's Matt Weiner in Atlanta.